Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning for another news update for Wednesday, August the 27th, 2025. And I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, JDF and the police probe a device at a Clarendon auto parts store after shooting. The Jamaica Defensive Force was on Tuesday called in to assist the police in assessing a device found at an auto parts store in Osborne Store, Clarendon, following a shooting incident. The police told the news that a licensed firearm holder shot and injured a man during a dispute at the location at about 12:45 p.m. The police said there had been a previous report of conflict between the two men. The injured man is in hospital in stable condition under police guard. Members of the security forces remained on the scene. Woman found stabbed to death at a shopping center in St. Anne. The body of an unidentified woman was found with a stab wound at the Ocean Village shopping center in Ochiria, St. Anne on Tuesday morning. A passerby stumbled upon the body shortly after midnight. A man in a white shirt was seen fleeing the area. The police were called to the scene and observed that the body had a wound to the neck. It was clad in a burgundy dress and was barefooted. Butter-kissed vanilla sandwich cookies recalled due to substandard quality. International Biscuits Limited has announced the recall of butter-kissed vanilla sandwich cookies 55 gram after a routine inspection revealed that some products did not meet the company's quality standards. The recall applies specifically to 240 cases of cookies with a product code I292507111 and the best before date of January 10, 2026, manufactured between 7 a.m. and 8:44 a.m. IBL says there have been no reports of illness or adverse effects linked to the product, but has advised that any inventory from the affected batch should be quarantined and not offered for sale. Distribution of further supplies has also been voluntarily suspended. Customers who purchased the product between August 4 and August 21, 2025 are asked to return it to the supplier for either a refund or an alternative product. IBL, a member of the separate group, says it remains committed to maintaining the highest quality standards and delivering on its promise of the must-be-good experience for its customers. Jamaica reportedly joins other countries in suspending shipping packages to U.S. amid a Trump tariff policy. Jamaica's Postal Service has stopped accepting packages for shipment to the United States from members of the public effective Tuesday, following a policy shift linked to tariffs by the United States, the news understands. Outbound mail remains suspended for now, while the status of inbound mail remains unclear as of press time. Effective today, we were told not to accept any packages to the USA, said a postal worker at a Kingston post office who requested anonymity. The news has sent queries to Jamaica Post and awaits a response. Calls to two other postal workers at separate offices yielded similar responses, with staff refusing to accept U.S.-bound packages. The cutoff was today for some reason, said another postal manager at a different location. Asked about inbound mail, a third postal worker was uncertain. They may be affected as well, but I do not know. Let's see. The disruption follows the U.S. government's decision to end its long-standing tariff exemption for low-value imports, known as the de minimis rule, which allowed the packages under US $800 to enter duty-free. The exemption is set to expire Friday, prompting postal services across Europe to suspend the shipments to the US amid confusion over the new import duties. Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and Italy have already halted most merchandise deliveries. France and Austria are expected to follow. Meanwhile, the UK's Royal Mail announced that it would pause shipments on Tuesday. The third Jamaican postal worker noted that mail to other countries remains unaffected. However, she advised against sending anything to the US for now. If we collect your mail, it's going nowhere. It will stay at the head office and not to move. Do you want that? She asked. Mail is still going out to other countries. In Jamaica, the Postal and the Telecommunications Department processed 8.5 million pieces of mail in 2024, down from 10.2 million in 2023, a decline seen across all categories, including parcels and letters. Revenue fell by $237 million to $458 million, reflecting the drop in mail volumes. At the same time, expenditure rose, widening the department's projected deficit to $3.7 billion, up from $3 billion the previous year. Calls grow for better access for persons with disabilities at the polls. The government-run entity that represents the interest of persons with disabilities is trusting that their experiences casting ballots in next week's general election will be better than past polls, a top executive has indicated. This caution comes despite a series of consultations and training sessions between the Electoral Office of Jamaica and the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, both entities confirmed yesterday. I cannot guarantee 100% that people with disabilities will not face challenges because there are also attitudinal barriers, Dr. Christine Hendricks, Executive Director of the JCPD, told the news yesterday. We are hoping that they do not, because we have been part of their training and we have gone through the protocols of how you treat with persons with disabilities, words not to use, ensuring that they are not discriminatory, and we have indicated how they can treat with situations as they arise, she said. There is no data indicating the total number of disabled persons who are eligible to cast the ballots in the upcoming parliamentary election, set for September 3, Director of Elections Glasspool Brown revealed. However, Brown disclosed that his office has already implemented measures to address some of the issues raised by persons in the disabled community that have made life uncomfortable for them in past elections. At the top of the list, he said, is that 98.8% of all polling stations to be set up in 7,256 public school buildings across the country on election day will be on the ground floor. Further, the Director of Elections noted that the Representative of the People's Act, Jamaica's electoral law, allows for voters who are visually impaired to be accompanied to the polling station by a friend who will act on their behalf based on his or her instruction in terms of marking the ballots. As long as they are registered, they won't be disenfranchised, he insisted. We are not there yet in terms of accommodating the disabled community, but we are moving to put a number of things in place. Physical access to polling stations, especially for wheelchair-bound voters, was among the complaints the JCPD was asked to raise during its consultations with the EOJ, Hendricks disclosed. Among the critical issues from past elections, she said, is how persons with disabilities are treated by functionaries of the two main political parties when they show up to cast their ballots, tending to lift people from wheelchairs and that kind of behavior. It's not very dignified, and we really want our people with disabilities to operate with their own private dignity and personal space, said Hendricks. She said the JCPD has requested that portable ramps be provided at polling stations that do not have permanent ones in place, and underscored the importance of having sign language interpreters available or on call. Persons can provide support via video. Technology allows for that these days for guidance or any direction that might be needed by the deaf person who shows up, Hendricks reasoned, while acknowledging that it may not be practical to have an interpreter in every polling division. Further, she said the JCPD suggested that information disseminated by the EOJ before, during and after an election should be an easy read for all members of the disabled community, so that across the spectrum, persons with intellectual disabilities, and the persons with literacy issues can understand. The Director of Elections said a suggestion by the GCPD to introduce a special ballot or braille voting for members of the disabled community was being explored, but indicated that it would require changes to the electoral laws. We haven't gone there yet in terms of the in-depth review or study of the practicality and the costing of it, he said. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.